healthy, not only for ourselves, but for our families and friends as well. So at the outset, as a fellow professional in the indirect tax field, I can't stress enough how important and relevant this webinar series is going to be. So from the time GST has been put into place, we've seen so many amendments, so many changes, whether it is through budgets or amendment acts or through notifications, etc. Right? And apart from that, we also have case laws and advanced rulings. And it is so important for us to keep up with all of that as professionals. So we at Optotax, being a technology and knowledge sharing platform, help the professionals with coping up with all these kind of changes occurring in the fields of finance and taxation. So whether it is through daily updates or through organizing these kind of webinars with the best faculties in the country. Right. So coming back to this series, I'm sure it will help you grasp all relevant notifications, provisions, case laws, etc., pertaining to various industries and sectors such as NGO and education, healthcare, e-commerce, textile and automobile industry, etc. So I request all of you to attend all of these sessions and clarify all of your doubts with these amazing and talented speakers and guests of honors that we have on board for this series. So again, I welcome all of you to this 6-day webinar series, and I request everyone to take this opportunity to interact with each other, interact with the speakers as well, and get all your doubts clarified. So at this outset, I'd also like to welcome CA Neha Garwal from Voice of CA. Neha, you can take over for any remarks.
Thank you so much, Ramya. I'm excited to see today's topic, that is GST on NGO, educational institutions and charitable trusts. It's actually a nuance, I would say, because people generally have an outlook that GST is not applicable on NGOs. Voice of CA itself being an NGO, we think about it. So, and of course, we have our distinguished guest of honor today, Avinash Poddar ji, with us, and our distinguished speaker as well, Aanchal Kapoor ji, who would be taking up this session today. I am looking forward to it. And on behalf of Voice of CA, I would like to welcome all the participants here, as well as our guest and speaker who are here with us today, taking out the time to join us. And just quickly telling, Voice of CA is an NGO based in Delhi which has been working since 2009 for professional betterment, doing webinars, seminars, sending mailers, and a lot of academic stuff for all our professionals with us. We would be sharing the links also. You can join us for daily updates. We'll share it in the chat box. And I'm looking forward to this session. I hope you all enjoy it. Thank you, Ramya.
Thank you so much, Neha. Right. So we already have more than 110 people joining us. So I think this is the right time for me to introduce the guest of honor for today, Dr. Advocate Avinash Poddar ji. Actually, he's a person who requires no introduction, but nonetheless, it's an honor for me to introduce him at this juncture. Avinash Poddar ji is a practicing advocate in the field of indirect tax, commercial laws, and cybercrime. He has an experience of more than 21 years in the profession, 17 years as a chartered accountant, and then as an advocate. He practices specifically in the field of central excise, customs, service tax, VAT, corporate laws, RERA, IBC, and cybercrime. He specializes in representing for litigation works pertaining to indirect taxation, and he has appeared and argued before the Honorable Supreme Court, various high courts, SISTAT, Commissioner Appeals, and even advanced ruling authorities. And he has delivered more than 900 lectures all over India at various regional and national conferences of ICI, ICSI, ICMA, and PhD Chamber of Commerce of Delhi, CREDAI, or IIT Bombay, ASSOCHAM, and various other institutions, trade associations, and even corporates. He's also an author of various books such as Audit and Annual Return in GST, Appeals and Litigation in GST and Customs, Step-by-Step Guide to GST Compliance Made It Easy, etc. So I can't put into words how privileged and happy I am to welcome such an experienced professional to our forum. So thank you so much for being part of this, sir. So please take over for any opening remarks.
Thank you so much, Rameji. At the outset, first and foremost, I would like to thank Optotax as well as Voice of CA for putting up the excellent efforts and arranging this kind of series wherein the nuances of various industries are going to be discussed in detail, because general deliberations is being done time and again. We are aware about the provisions of GST. In case we are not aware, then we are made aware by lots of WhatsApp chats or the media newsprints. But we need to understand what exactly an industry is suffering from, what exactly needs to be complied with so far as an industry is concerned, and moreover, what are the limitations of an industry so far as GST is concerned. Unless we are aware about that, I am of a view that GST compliance will not be easy to do. Although the government expects that this GST is going to be very simple law, but this only 174 sections law is very, very complicated, and rather it is being made more complicated now day by day. Now, there are two ways of looking at it. Let me first express my gratitude that they have chosen me. They have given me this opportunity of sharing the dais with the most lauded and most sought speaker of the day, that is Aanchal Kapoor. She is doing marvelous, and I always look forward for her sessions. And it's now an opportunity for me to share the dais with her. Obviously, virtual dais. Very soon, I expect that we'll be sharing a physical dais also together. Now, the other way of looking at it is that now we are no more required as a speaker. We'll have to comment and then keep our mouth shut. That can be other way of looking at it, but I look it in a very positive way, because now the way and the manner in which the law is changing, an advocate like me or a person like me or a chartered accountant like me is finding it very difficult to cater or to match with the speed which is required to read this law. And therefore, these topics certainly are very helpful to not only to the participants, but each one of us also, who are not working for a particular industry, but who at times are facing the issues or are arguing the matters pertaining to a particular industry. Coming to the topic, I am made aware that the topic today, which will be dealt by Aanchalji, would be the GST and its implications on the NGOs, charitable institutions, and the educational institutions. As rightly pointed out by Nehaji, that generally we have an attitude, an understanding, or a belief, which may be correct, which may be incorrect, that there cannot be any impossibility of tax so far as NGOs, charitable institutions, or educational institutions are concerned. But to my limited understanding, the taxability is on each and everything, whether it is NGO, whether it is the charitable institution, educational institution, whatsoever. So therefore, anything and everything which is being covered into the four corners of the term supply, the taxability is certainly there. But the important aspect to be noted is whether it is being covered into the exemptions notifications or whether any relaxations has been given to that particular segment. Now, if I have to say about the NGOs or charitable institutions, if anyone or any of such organizations are indulged into any business activity, then even under income tax, if I'm not wrong, even under income tax, it is being taxed. So why not in GST? GST is something which is not the direct implication, but it is collected on behalf of some government agency and then it is deposited back. So therefore, obviously, any business transaction which is being entered into either by a charitable institution or by an educational institution per se is going to be taxed. But if it is being entered into for the welfare of the state or a society, Then there are certain privileges which are specified in the law or by way of notifications or by way of some other benefits which is being passed on to those organizations. Now, so far as compliances are concerned, again, I'm not a man of compliance, but yes, whatever I have read and understood, Aanchalji will vouch to it that compliances also are same for any kind of organization. There is no relaxation so far as NGOs or charitable institutions or educational institution is concerned. And trust me, I'll not take much time, but because I know everybody is eager to hear Aanchalji, but I would conclude my comments by saying this. Something which is directly taxable, an industry on which right from transaction 1 till last transaction, if the entire chain is taxable, there is no problem at all. You will never find any disputes in that. But whenever a privilege or a benefit or a exemption is given to any organization or any particular transaction, then in that case, it is prone to disputes. It is prone to wrong interpretation. It is prone to the indulgence of the government agencies like preventive or audit or something like that because of the interpretation issues. So therefore, this industry is very, very important and as per me is prone to litigation. Reason being, there are partial exemptions which are provided. Let me take one example which strikes to my mind because when we were in Indirect Tax Committee of ICI, this issue was being discussed. Whether CA Institute is an educational institution or not. The services which the institute is providing to the members, whether it should be taxed or not. If we presume that it is an educational institution, if an education which is being provided to the students by way of a coaching class or by way of sending the material or whatsoever, whether it is going to be taxed or not. So therefore, we need to look into the specific exemption which is being provided in the law. Let me take another example, maybe of I can say that association can be an NGO, Lions Club, Rotary Club, all those clubs are NGOs. Whether there will be any impossibility of tax on that, there are a lot of advanced rulings. I'm not going into that, but yes, prima facie, the liability has to be there. And therefore, if an association or a society or a welfare society is concerned, we all are aware that there is an exemption of 7,500 rupees. Now there is a dispute whether if I'm collecting 10,000 rupees, which is extending 7,500 or in excess of 7,500, whether the tax will be imposed on the entire 10,000 rupees or on 2,500 rupees. So the point which I'm trying to make is, and which makes this session very, very important and relevant for all of us. And I'm very sure that Aanchalji is going to take us through the entire gamut of this industry. The only reason which I want to point out is this industry has exceptions, exemptions, and the privileges. And therefore, government giving any exemption or privilege puts you through a very difficult path of satisfying the conditions and moreover, convincing and satisfying those officers, which is one of the most important aspects as per me. So therefore, we need to be very, very thorough, very clear in whatever benefits we avail on the basis of law or on the basis of notifications pertaining to these industries. We need to be 200% sure that whether we are complying with the law in accordance with the provisions or in ambiguity. And if there is any ambiguous nature of a transaction, we'll have to be very, very safe in taking the exemptions. Otherwise, that may lead to a lot of disputes, a lot of problems. And these being an organizations not for profit making, find it very, very difficult in case they land up in any liability of penalty, interest, or whatsoever, because they are not earning profit. If they are not earning profit and in future it comes to them that there is an exemption which have been claimed and it is wrongly claimed, they have not collected that amount also on that pretext, and now they are liable to pay that amount along with interest and penalty. That becomes almost a suicidal attempt for them. So therefore, I am of a strong belief that any benefit to be claimed by such organizations must be claimed after giving a thorough understanding and reading to the provisions. With this, I expect a wonderful session, not only a wonderful learning session, but also the huge participation of the participants, because that will make the session really a wonderful session and a successful session. With this, I once again thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity, and I'm indeed very, very grateful to both of them. And last but not the least, I would love to hear Aanchal ji, but at the same time, I will also like to submit one apology, because maybe I'll have to, because tomorrow there is a matter at Bombay High Court, so I may have to leave. So I need permission of leaving this session if at all that is required. With this, thank you so much. Over to you, Ramaji.
Thank you so much, Avinash ji, for your wise words. Like you pointed out, with so many changes throughout these years in GST, there will be a lot of interpretational issues in every industry, especially when there's all these kind of relaxations and exemptions. So today's session will definitely be very interesting for all of us, which will be made more interesting by Aanchal Kapoor ji. So with this, I'd like to introduce our speaker for today. So Aanchal Kapoor is a qualified chartered accountant and is practicing for more than 10 years in the field of direct and indirect taxes, including appellate work. She has authored many articles on GST, published in various journals like AIFTP, Tax Management India, etc. With special focus on GST, she has done extensive study on the subject with many certified courses, and GST being one of her competency areas. Since inception of her academics, she has been placed in the merit list at various levels and was a rank holder in CA and a gold medalist in her graduation. So in pursuing her professional career in GST, she is into this field and also has been has delivered various webinars and seminars. And also, it's amazing to see her being part of Optotax events again. So thank you and welcome again, ma'am, to Optotax.
Thank you so much, Ramyaji. A very, very good evening to all. And yes, first of all, a big thank you to the organizers, Optotax being represented by CA Ramyaji and VOCA by none other than my very good friend, CA Neha. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Optotax has been one of my favorite platforms always to deliberate upon. And none other than what you organizers have given us the presence of Dr. Avinash Poddar, sir. Sir, I must say you took my words, because all those what you said for me, I would have loved to say all those words for you. Your presence, sharing dice with you, although it is only virtual, but it's a great, great opportunity for me and I look forward to it. I wish it will be my bad luck if you leave and you have to leave in between. So I would request and would love to have your presence throughout as a guiding one. And you always, your videos, your cases, we keep on reading and learning about yourself. And that's great to share this virtual dice with you. Thank you so much. And now, my dear friends who have joined us in good numbers, as Avinash sir has also mentioned, that it will be a great session only when you all will be participating. And we, all the 4 people who are there or must be showing on your screen, we all want that the chat box should be full. And to the extent you can come up with the points, the questions, I will not say only the questions because we mutually learn and we will be learning from each other. If I skip any point, so you mention that in the chat box. So with these words, as sir has given the example of ICI, we will be taking ICI example. We will be going through number of examples today. Let me open the chat box also. Right, Jayesh ji. Thank you so much. I can see lots of messages of good evening. So I have already wished everyone a very, very good evening. Right, Vijay sir? So friends, the topic we will be talked about that I must say in just 5 words, 5 minutes or few words, he has considered all the points that comes up in this NGO, charitable and the educational sector. So I hope I will be able to justify it, and wherever not, sir is always there for us, right? Chaliye friends. So let me ask you a very first question, which none other than CA Neha raised today in the beginning of the session. Now, I ask you this: is GST applicable to charitable institutions? Just give me a yes or no. You only have 2 options. Meanwhile, I share the screen. Say, madam, agar lagta nahi, so we would not have been here today. Am I right? So I'm asking a question for which is very well known to all of you. Let me open the chat box also. Okay, so Gaurav ji saying no, Ajay ji saying yes, Jayesh ji saying no. So mixed view of all of you. Yes, yes. Achha, yes, no, so you all can write. Hai na? You all know the spellings also of the same. So I know you are giving us your evening, so you must come up with exempt for certain activities. Okay, let's twist the question a bit. Let me twist the question. If I ask you, a particular institute is a charitable as per income tax, and I know you all know a bit of income tax, 12AA institute, will that institute be enjoying the exemptions under GST also? Yes or no? Those who knows income tax, even if little bit, they can also answer. Okay, no. Section 12AA exempt, not fully exempt. Achha, yes, no. So we are getting a mixed answers. Charitable activity. Yeah, the name just went off for charitable objects. So friends, let us find all the answers. Definition are absolutely Vinayji. This was the answer I was looking for. So Raviji, only eligible charitable activities. Absolutely right. So see, we have already such a knowledgeable audience who already know about these points. Have a look on the PPT now. Friends, if I talk about the charitable institutions, yes, the charitable institutions, first of all, are covered by GST. As sir also rightly mentioned at the beginning, that there is nothing which is not covered by GST. If it is, they are supplying goods, they are supplying provided goods or services, everything is covered. Every organization is covered. So my dear friends, charitable institutions also stands covered under GST. Yes, but there can be certain exemptions that may be provided, and again, not to charitable institutions. It is for the activities that has been provided. In GST, we have to check the exemption is going activity wise or organization wise. So when we go to charitable institutions, we will see that how the certain activities, you know why I am mentioning so? I am mentioning so because हमारे पास कुछ persons होते हैं, कुछ temples होते हैं, गुरुद्वारास होते हैं जिनका हम काम करते हैं, and we say अच्छा ये तो charitable institution है, इसमें तो GST लगेगा ही नहीं. लेकिन माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, हम भूल जाते हैं ऐसे चैरिटेबल इंस्टीट्यूशंस को रेंटल इनकम्स भी आती हैं. मंदिरों के बाहर जनरली देयर इज द रेंटल ऑफ शॉप्स. उनके कुछ बैंक्वेट्स होते हैं जहां कई तरह के सेरेमनीज की जाती है. दे चार्ज सर्टेन अमाउंट फॉर दोस. So what I want to point out here, ऐसा नहीं है if you have a temple or a gurudwara as a client, they will be exempt from GST or they will be out of GST. No, you have to check. So Ravi Kiran ji ने तो लिमिट भी लिख दी है. रवि किरण जी, बहुत सारी लिमिट्स है. आपने मंथली रेंटल 10,000 जरूर लिखा है, but we will go to the limits later on. So right now we will be just focusing on the basics. Right, Inderpal ji, it is activity wise. So charitable institute, or you know, अच्छा कौन सा exemption notification है, जल्दी से लिख दीजिए जरा फ्रेंड्स. हमेशा 1/2017 goods का notification, 2/2017 is the services notification. Is my voice lagging? If it is lagging, so I will switch over.
It's stopping sometimes now.
Stopping sometimes. Okay, I will, but you need to give me 2 minutes just to shift the PPT to the another one. Friends, am I allowed to do so? Now voice is okay. Inderpalji, they are saying that it is lagging somewhere in between. So let me shift. Uh, uh, okay. Meanwhile, I am shifting it. So, okay, you all are writing 12 by 2017. Friends, let me tell you, if I talk about the notifications, 11 by 2000, Rama ma'am, if it is still lagging, so I will shift. Is it so?
It's happening once in 3-4 minutes like that.
Once in 3-4 minutes. Then please allow me a minute to just transfer the PPT to the another one, so that I just forgot actually to keep it there on the another laptop. Just give me 1 minute. You know, friends, now this laptop is also getting tired. It was, I took this during the COVID timings. I think so it is now turning old because it's saying COVID is going away. So you have to leave it. Okay, meanwhile, we were talking about the notifications. Always remember that 1 by 2017 deals with goods, 2 by 2017 deals with its exemption. Likewise, 11 by 2017 deals with the abhi tak mail has not come to me. 11 by 2017 deals with services, and 12 by 2017 deals with the exemption of services. So whenever you have to check the service exemption, you need to consider 12 by 2017 notification, right? And the very, very first point of the notification deals with none other than the charitable institutions itself. Rama ma'am, I'm just switching it off from here and shifting to the another one.
Okay, sure.
All right.
Yeah, I request all the professionals to just wait for a couple of minutes. Ma'am will be joining us back. So just to reiterate, it would be great, just like Aanchal ma'am told, if you can be interactive and ask all your questions, ask all your doubts during this time, so that you won't really get an opportunity to interact with such professionals. So please use this time to spread your knowledge and increase your knowledge as well. And also another information is the next session of the series will be on Saturday, 19th at the same time at 5 p.m. And CA Navya Malhotra will be joining us. And so please make sure that you join us back day after tomorrow at the same time at 5 p.m. And with I think the other 4 sessions also, which will be happening till the month end. I request all of you to attend all of it, and also provide us your feedback on how these sessions were and what are the topics you want us to take webinars, right? I think ma'am is also joining us back. Yeah, the presentation will be shared. Yash Modi ji, don't worry, we will be sharing the PPT.
Yeah, Ramya ma'am, can you see it now? The video?
Yeah, you're visible and your voice is also fine.
All right. Yeah, I think so. I need to set it up. Ma'am, the video can go a bit like up. It's not setting up properly. I'm so sorry, friends, shifting a laptop, although it was very near to me, but still it takes a bit time. All right. So friends, when we were talking about these, let me open the chat box also. Now voice is okay. Thank you so much, Indrapalji. Okay, friends. So I was talking about the charitable institution. Yes, the very first entry of none other than the notification number 12 by 2017 itself, my dear friends, deals with with charitable institutions. Have a look. Entry number 1 says services by an entity registered under 12AA of the Income Tax Act by way of charitable activities. Friends, has it the point only this, that 12AA institution of Income Tax Act, then your answer would have been correct when you said me ki yes, it is not liable otherwise. But here, what is the issue? If we talk about 12AA institution, under income tax, they have added the word by way of charitable activities, and the charitable activities in GST carries a different meaning. Let me talk about now. Always we have to check 3 things. What is that? Who is the service provider? What is the service? And who is the service recipient? So if I analyze this activity, who is the service provider? It is any entity who is registered under 12AA. What is it providing? Now, here it makes the distinction that yes, it must be providing the charitable activities, and it should be provided to any person. Here, the charitable activities word, it is in front of you. If you can say in charitable activities, if I talk about income tax, the things are totally different. Section 2, clause 15 of Income Tax Act defines relief to poor, education, any other advancement of general public utility. If I talk about Income Tax Act, my dear friends, the definition is very vast. Very vast. But if you come to the वहां पे तो even if you are doing any other general public utility, even if you are doing certain activities which in the course of actual carrying on the activity, even if it covers some portion of the business activity, up to certain receipts have been exempted. But that is not the case in GST. In GST, the word charitable activities has particularly defined. Right? Now, let's have a look on this charitable activity wala portion. If I talk about charitable activities, means public health. In there, they are covering the care and counseling. Terminally ill people ka, AIDS ka, HIV ka, narcotics ka, public awareness. Now, let me ask you a question. Now, you have read the first point. If a normal child is getting treated, by a pediatrician, my question to you is whether it will get covered under point number 1, yes or no? Yes or no? So you are writing no. Iska matlab that will not get the exemption. What do you want to say? That will not get the exemption. No. Okay. Anybody who says it gets covered? No, it does not get covered into it. But how Vijayji, then how it will get covered by the exemption? It means this will become taxable. Yes, not get exemption. Now let me tell you, that activity is not covered here, but in GST, we have separate activity for healthcare and education of normal persons, which are covered in different entry numbers 66 and 74. So please don't get confused that those become taxable. Right, Vinodji, you have rightly mentioned there is a separate entry. Right, Naveenji? Good to see the names I am already, I have been regularly finding in my webinars. Right. So friends, if I talk about the charitable activities, so then in that case, it properly says that here Only those 12 AA institutes are covered which are providing the charitable. It means two conditions. They must be 12 AA. They must be doing the charitable activities. What are mentioned here? Yes, yoga, religion, spirituality advancement is covered. Yoga is covered in income tax also, here also. Abhi, I will talk about a case study with all of you. And you know, chali, I give you a food for thought. Meanwhile, I reach over there. If I ask you that a particular institute is getting yoga also done and aerobics also done and such other activities, will they be qualifying for exemption? Yes or no? Don't post the answers. Okay, so you have started posting that too. That's great. Okay, so yoga में exemption मिलेगा. Great, Indrapal ji. Naveen ji, Tarun ji have mentioned no, नहीं मिलेगा. चलिए, we will see it later on. Advancement of educational programs. Again, here the educational programs or skill development are only related to the abandoned, orphan, homeless children. Physically who has traumatized persons, who are the prisoners, or who are the persons over the age of 65. Where is general education covered? That is covered in entry number 66. And the last is the preservation of the environment. Friends, I have purposely put here the charitable definition as per Income Tax Act to show you that as per Income Tax, charitable is different, and as per the GST Act, charitable is different. Right? Chaliye. Now, if we proceed further, if I talk about, so chaliye aapka hi question aa gaya sabse pehle, classification of services if certain residential programs or camps are being organized for the advancement of religion, spirituality or yoga by religious and charitable trusts. If they are having 12 AA, the religion, spirituality or yoga are exempt. But if they are running the fitness camps or the classes such as aerobics, then in that case, it will not. For activities, friends, I initially told you only that in GST, the exemption is given to the activities and not to the organizations as whole. Right? Chaliye. So now let's move on to that. There is a particular circular for it also. Now let's talk about, this is although it is a triple AR, but still it gives us a insight how it goes on. In this Srimad Rajchandra Adhyatmik Satsang Kendra ka jo ye case study hai. Okay, now let me ask you a question first. Let me ask you a question. Arey Bhaskar ji itna bada sa question dal diya. Don't worry, I will come to the old age homes also. I will come right now. If I talk about the Srimad Ramchandra Adhyatmik Satsang wala jo ye double AR hai. Okay, before this, let me ask you, is supply of goods covered under it? Yes or no? Friends, this is a 12 by 2017. 12 by 2017. So if I talk about 12 by 2017, it is for services only, and it is not for the purpose of, it is for services only and not for the purpose of goods. So please remember, wherever the question of goods arises, it's a separate question. So whether the legislature wants to tax all activities, yes. Until or unless it is specifically exempted, it will be. Right? Now, second, this is what this said. Intention of the legislature is to tax. The goods are not exempted. 12 by 2017 is only a service notification. So selling of books, DVDs, CDs, these come under the definition of supply and will be taxable one. Now, let me ask you one more question. What about prashad? Is it taxable or is it exempt? I told you the goods are taxable. Now you have to tell me whether prashad is exempt or taxable. Whether prashad is exempt or taxable. Okay, so you all are replying taxable. Dinesh ji, it's not a supply at all. अच्छा, मैं प्रसाद देने की बात नहीं कर रही हूँ. You are saying no consideration. I am talking about the organization selling prasad. आप गुरुद्वारे में जाते हैं, आप 100 रुपीस की पर्ची कटवाते हैं, आप कड़ा प्रसाद लेते हैं. आप मंदिर में जाते हैं, you buy, वहां पे they are selling the prasads अंदर चढ़ाने के लिए. That is with consideration. Okay, now you all are saying taxable. Friends, all the goods. No, Rajesh ji, it's not a donation. It's not a donation. ओके इंद्रपाल जी कंफ्यूजन है तो हम इसको दूर कर देते हैं. Incidental to the main business. Friends, for this purpose I put the definition. Look, income tax and GST are separate. In their incidental words is being used. In GST, until or unless I mentioned, until or unless specifically exempted, it is not exempted. Now I will answer it in a short while in the slides to come, and I will be discussing the goods. But let me tell you, none of the answer came correctly. It is exempt. It is specifically made exempt. Other pehli baat, it is not a service. So Ravi ji, as you have used the word incidental to the main business, it is not a service. One thing. Secondly, when it is not a service, it was not covered by 12 by 2017. Thirdly, if it is not a service, it is a good until or unless. No. Rajesh ji, I will come to the donation and the philanthropic purpose. Please just be with me. If still you don't get the answer, you put it again. All right. So all the goods, DVDs, whatever these institutions are selling, those are all taxable, my dear friends. Exemption again and again is for the activities and is not for the entire charitable institutions. Now, Rajesh ji, I'm coming to your question. Let me ask you all a question before I go to that. There is a temple, right? Rajesh ji went to that temple and said that in the memory of my ancestors, I want to get the flooring of temple done. Please listen carefully. I'm presenting you the case studies that actually come in case of charitable institutions. He says that I want to get the flooring done. He got the flooring done, right? And his name was displayed there, that Rajesh ji ne apne purvajon ki yaad mein, in the memory of his ancestors, he has got this flooring done. My question to you is it a supply? Yes or no? Is it a supply? Yes or no? Exempt until it is promotional, which amounts to advertisement. Okay. Anybody else? Yes, hence taxable. Okay. Friends, now let me distinguish between two cases when you people have talked about advertisement and all. If name displayed, then it is supply. Manmohan ji, the name has been displayed. It has been mentioned over a stone over there that he has got it done. Naveen ji saying it's a taxable supply. Mohit ji, I'm getting an answer in your reply. Now, friends, let me conclude it. I give you two examples, then you will be more clear. Like Rajesh ji went, similar way, Reliance wale also went. And they said, we will get the flooring of the temple done. The temple said, okay. But you have to display a board of my name of the size 24 by 24 by particularly mentioning the name done by Reliance Industries in the memory of so and some. Absolutely, Dinesh ji, Balaji, you could understand the difference between the two things. Naam to dono jagah hi hai. Naam to dono jagah hai. May it be the first case, may it be the second case. But the philanthropic purpose. Philanthropic means what is the intention? Was it the charity? Friends, if you talk about charity, जिसको हम चढ़ावा बोलते हैं, the charity is not a supply. The charity is not a supply because the element of consideration, something in return, was missing. Absolutely right, Moji. Intention matters, something in return. Then it is not a supply. So many temples, the gurdwaras, the mosques, the churches, which are getting the donations, that donation does not consider as a supply because the element of consideration is missing out of it. But at the same time, in the second example, have a look on the next portion now. Circular 116 of the government says, if you are getting the nameplates being placed by the donors and is not aiming at the publicity, the name is displaying there, but it is not aiming at the publicity, means the object is philanthropic, just for the charity purpose, then there will be no GST liabilities. But again, in my second example, when it leads to commercial gains, it is a sort of advertisement, the GST will become leviable. Chaliye. So now let's move forward. Sir, you talked about old age homes. So Mohitji, Inderpalji, absolutely correct. The consideration if missing, nothing being asked, then it is philanthropic purpose. It is not a supply. Okay. If it is not a supply, it will not even be counted for your turnover purposes. But if it is a supply, then it will get covered by the supply portion also, and will be covered for your turnover. Now let me talk about the old age homes. I just saw it. Right, Subhashji, services by an old age home which are run by the central government, state government, or by any entity registered under 12AA to the residents who are aged 60 years or more, if the consideration is up to 25,000 rupees per month per member. Oh, thoda heavy ho gaya, right? So let's see it with the pointer given below. Who should be the service provider, my dear friends? Old age home. It should be run by whom? Central government, state government, or a 12AA entity. Now you see, when we run the first one, Kanwalji, why you are moving ahead to the pharmacy shop? I will come to it. Don't worry. अभी तो hospital पे हम पहुंचे ही नहीं. अभी तो हम मंदिर, masjid, gurudwaras, churches, we all are talking about it, right? So I will come to the pharmacy too. Now let me tell you. First entry, that was entry number 1. For old age home, we have separate entry 9D. Entry number 1 was talking about only those 12AA institutes which were dealing in all those 4 points of charitable activities that was mentioned therein. If 12AA, you are running any old age home and charging a consideration, service, which service? Any service. What should be the criteria? Consideration should be up to 25,000, including the boarding, lodging, and the maintenance of whom? Any residents who are 60 years or more of age. So those people who are staying over there will be exempt. So the services of old age homes will get exempt. Right? Chaliye. Now let's move forward. Let's come to next entry, entry number 80. Friends, again, a 12AA institution. The activities which were not covered in entry number 1. 12AA institution, that charitable entity who is registered under 12AA is providing the training or coaching, but not all training and coachings. Not these Byju's app. I'm not talking about it. That is also training or coaching. First, who should be the provider? Listen, the provider should be 12AA. Am I right? Yes. Second, training or coaching related to what? It should be related to art or culture or sports. Where you are promoting art, culture, or sports, you are a 12AA institution, then to whomsoever, any person. Friends, always when you read the exemption, check the 3 pillars. First, provider, the service, and the receiver. Right? Who is the recipient? Any person. If you're providing these services, you are a 12AA entity. Yes, you are exempt. So are you finding it out? They have linked the income tax. They have covered 12AA entities, but not all, Vijayji. They have tried to pull out certain entities out of 12AA and covering it up here separately. So here is the entity entry which you all were looking upon. Sir ने तो starting में 10,000 limit mention कर दिया था. But before going to that, before going to the monetary limit, okay, let me ask you one question. कमल जी ने अपने ऑफिस का इनॉग्रेशन किया और पंडित जी को बुलाया. We called a Pandit ji for the puja purposes. Now the question is, the Pandit ji took dakshina of 11,000 rupees. Bolte itna acha office you have made, so 11,000. Now my question to you is whether it is exempt or taxable. Whether it is exempt or it is taxable. So you all are mentioning exempt. Naveen ji, entry number. Jayesh ji, entry number. Deepak ji, entry number. It is for rituals, then it is exempt. Okay, so friends, let's have a look on the another entry. Entry number 13, the very first point. Leave part number B. Please concentrate on A part only. A part only, which says services by a person. Who is providing? Person. Koi bhi, by a person, by way of conduct of any religious ceremony. If you are doing any religious ceremony, means puja, and you are giving, who should be the provider? Any person. Who should be the receiver? It can be any person. But what should be the service? Here the exemption is for the service. If it is a religious ceremony, it is exempted. Should we end here? No, not at all. Let me add a twist to it. Now when Kanwal ji was getting Pandit ji booked, he said, Pandit ji, aajkal to corona chal raha hai. So it's very dangerous. And you know, many of the rituals in the corona times, those went online. So he said, I will not call you up. Let's have this on a e-commerce platform. E-puja. E-puja. And he checked the Google site and get the Pandit ji booked, and e-puja was done. My question to you is, again, Kanwalji paid 11,000 rupees online. Now my question is whether that 11,000 is exempt, yes or no? I will twist the question a bit, let me have the answers from all of you. Rajesh ji saying yes, yeah, Vijay ji saying yes, no. Oh, that's great. Oh, one yes, one no. Now let me twist it. Naveen ji, pehle pura question suniye. Dilip ji, please. Now the question says, there are two types of things. There is one presence of e-commerce operator also. Now look, amount which is for puja, which is Pandit ji's money, is exempt. But the amount which the e-commerce operator is charging is not exempt. Are you getting? I will show you the next case study also before going to the point number B. Have a look. This is AAR of Sadashiv Annaji Shetty, which clear cut says Pandits are the persons who are actually performing the puja. So whatever amount the Panditji is charging, that is exempt. That is exempt. But if there is any facilitator between the e-commerce, the amount received by the e-commerce operator as his commission is not exempt. So it is the conduct of religious ceremony who is actually conducting it. All right. Chaliye. So now let's get back to the entry number B. Bhaskar ji, don't worry. This PPT has been made for all of you and will be shared with all of you. Optotax, VOCA, they are very good in providing the PPTs and the background material for all the faculties. So don't worry about that. And I will share it. Right? Chaliye. Knowledge increases with sharing. So then you will be finding out something in the PPT and will be pointing me out. I will also learn. Chaliye. Now let's come forward. Second entry is very, very important. Friends, specifically when you are doing the audits and the works for the charitable institutions, they generally end up कि हमारी कुछ और incomes हैं, shops हैं, we are getting the shops. At the beginning of the session, I particularly mentioned the schools, the mandirs, masjids, gurudwaras, and the churches. Those are not exempt. The charitable institutions, the religious institutions are also covered. Not only religious, of course, charitable also. All are covered by the GST until or unless their activity which they are doing is exempt. if they are getting the rental incomes, that is a supply. All the elements of supply are present. Of course, or furtherance of business, they are, because they are charging, there is a consideration for it. Now, the question comes, and don't ask me that's not a business, because Abhi, I will talk about the definition of business. There we will see certain points which are mentioned therein, but let me come back to it. They are renting, they have rooms, dharamshalas. We go to Haridwar, we go to Mathura, Vrindavan. There are lots of dharamshalas. They are in renting of rooms. They are providing the banquet halls, community halls, where the various types of ceremonies takes place. They have income from renting of shops. Now, have a look. Any entity which is registered under, now they are widely covering it. Whether you are 12AA under income tax, whether you are 1023C or 1023BBA Institute of Income Tax. Can any dharamshala? No. No, not any dharamshala. That dharamshala must have 12AA or 1023C5 or 1023BBA of income tax. Okay. Whosoever is taking the service, recipient can be any. If they are getting the income from renting, again, here the word charitable is not covered. Here the word religious is only covered. In entry number 1, we have charitable. In entry number 13, we have religious place meant for general public. If you are within the monetary limits, it is exempt. And to my considered view, if you are exceeding this monetary limits, the entire amount gets taxable. Have a look. What is the limit? If it is renting of rooms, my dear friends, wahan pe per room, per shop, per hall is missing. But the same entry has been taken from service tax, and in practice, yes, this amount is per room or per shop or per hall. Renting of rooms, if you are charging up to 1,000 rupees per day, it is exempt. Second, if it is renting of the halls, the premises, the community halls, it is 10,000 rupees or more per day. Till 10,000, it is exempt. After 12,000, it is a negative. There's a no exemption after this. Below 10,000, it is exempt. When the charges are 10,000 or more, the entire amount gets taxable. Renting of shops or the other spaces, again, the limit is 10,000. And yes, although the word per shop is not mentioned, it is to be considered per se service tax as per room, per shop, per hall. So renting of shops or other premises for business or commercial purposes where the charges are below 10,000, it is exempt. If it is 10,000 or more, it will become taxable. Here, the renting of shop is per month, room and the hall is per day. I hope the provision stands cleared, or any issues to anyone in the entry which we discussed. Now, if I move further, sir, we are talking about the religious. Okay, Vinayji has asked me a question, my dear friends. I would love to take that question here only. He says, what do you mean by the general public? If you are saying only a particular community or general public, means the doors are open to all. The doors are open to all. It is not, it is for the meant for the general public, not only to a particular religion. Institute is religious, but it is available to the general public. They might have kept the classes. So general public shows that it is for charitable or religious purposes. If service provider is other than entry number 13, Jayeshji, if they are other than entry number 13, then again the things needs to be checked, whether they are covered by any other entry or not. And if they are not covered by any other entry, which is given in notification 12/2017, the exemption will not be available. Right? Ab Jayeshji ne pucha, okay, let me continue with the question of Jayeshji. Jayeshji, if you talk about hotel, they are not covered by this entry, but there is particular entry number 14, which again provides a limit of 1,000 rupees per day. So in that particular entry, Jayeshji, the limit will be provided. There also we have guests, guest houses, inns, entry number 14. There is a separate entity for the same. Mr. Mehta, third point talks about when you go to any temple or any charitable institute, not charitable, here it is only religious. My pleasure, Jayeshji. Now, you see there are shops outside. I give the example of one of my clients. They are there is a Kashmiri Pandit Sabha. You know, they have their mandirs and temples all over, and that is meant for general public. Whosoever wants can go inside the temple, matha tek sakta hai, bahar aa sakta hai, prasad le sakta hai, rooms rent pe le sakta hai. It is not restricted to anyone. So they also have the shops, jahan prasad ki shops hai, and they have rented those shops and they're getting good rent out of it. Now listen, friends, listen. Yes, Karuna ji, if there are shops, this is what the point I'm talking about. They are selling kadas, the bangles, the malas, the puja ka saman, and all that. Then the entity should be a religious entity or a charitable entity under 12AA. If it is a religious or a charitable entity, in point number A is only religious, in point number B is charitable or religious trust under 12AA, then the rental which that charitable or religious trust is getting will be an exempt supply if it is up to a limit of 10,000 rupees per shop per month. Per shop per month. Right, Manmohan ji, a bit later, housing societies, please. Please, a bit later. So, Karuna ji, why I highlighted this point, Karuna ji ने कहा कि वो shops किससे related होनी चाहिए, that does not matter. अब मैं जिस मंदिर की बात कर रही थी, उन्होंने जो शॉप्स दी हुई हैं स्टार्टिंग में, तो कुछ ऐसी शॉप्स हैं मंदिर के सामान की, और कुछ शॉप्स किसी और पर्पस के लिए भी लेट आउट हैं, लाइक ग्लास हाउस को लेट आउट है, for which it is let out is not a valid point. Who is getting rental, charitable or a religious trust under 12AA? Why they are getting the rentals? They are getting the rentals from renting of shops or other spaces for business or commercial purpose, and the rent is below 10,000 rupees, it will get exempt. It will get exempt. Otherwise, it is taxable. Right? Now, service is renting. Absolutely, the service is renting, Gauravji. Now, you all have been asking for, I told you about the prasad. Friends, dhoop, agarbatti, puri, chane, you get now in many temples, when you go there, they have their own specific shops where the food is available at some subsidized rates. You get mithai at a lower rate, the sweets are available at a lower rate, and you know, I'm really hungry. And when I talk about sweets, it just is mouth-watering, right? So I hope you all love sweets. I to love a lot. Anyhow, so all these goods that are sold by the charitable institutions. Okay, Gaurav ji ne Hanuman Mandir ki kachori. Even I love that. Kachori and their bread pakoda also, right, Gaurav ji? So Hanuman Mandir mein to mehndi bhi lagti hai. So why I'm talking about, when they are charging any amount from that mehndi wala person, that kachori wala person, if it is charging of rent, it will go to entry number 13. If the shop is owned by a temple and they are selling the goods, it is still taxable as goods in that case. I hope you got the answer, right? So it is taxable, but my dear friends, prasad, which is called as a sacred food, is particularly exempt by entry number 2106. White entry number 2106. Now, coming back, Rabindra ji, if the tenant is paying the rent as donation, I've already covered. If it is a philanthropic purpose, then it is a different criteria. उन्होंने आपको कहा आप शॉप को कोई भी रेंट ना दीजिए, we are providing you something free of cost, and you are giving it as a donation. आप वैसे ही चढ़ा रहे हैं, that is something else. But generally, that doesn't happen practically. right? If it is donation, it is not even to be covered for turnover purposes. Right now, if I talk about public libraries, yes, theirs are specifically exempt by entry number 50, because here we never read public libraries. Goods or services. Now, if you are a CA, and you are charging your audit fee from them, all those services that are input services to the charitable institution are taxable. Right? I could see a few questions from Rajendra ji, Vinay ji. Let me come to it. Let me finish this slide. Goods or services to charitable institution. Yes, charitable institutions, तुम्हारी जो भी input services है, may it be rentals, may it be CA services, we have not exempted anything. We have to exempted your output services. Renting of space for advertisement hoardings. Somebody was asking for renting itself. Yeah, Vinay ji was asking for renting. Friends, Vinay ji पूछते हैं renting for residential purpose. Can anybody answer that? Can anybody answer that? Can anybody answer that? Friends, residence purpose is already exempted. Exempt. Don't write here exempt, Naveen ji and all. It normally mentioned residential purposes, otherwise exempt. Right? There you have a limit of something 50,000 above, but it's residential renting is exempt. So normal may cover ho jayega. Here you need not to come. All right. Now, public libraries not covered by charitable or religious are taxable. Ajay ji, I just mentioned the public libraries are particularly exempt under entry number 50 of notification number 12 by 2017. 12 by 2017. Now, a question or tha piche, which I missed. If they are charging some amount for darshan, to my considered view, if they are charging any amount for darshan, that will get covered by the definition of supply. And but again, क्या वो limit qualify करेंगे 20 lakhs की नहीं, वो सब add करके उसके ऊपर taxability जो है वो check होगा, right? But if you are renting any space for the advertisements, hoardings, etc., are all taxable. Mehta sahab, I have mentioned it over there. Sir, it is defined in the notification number 50 what is covered by the public libraries. We can check that out. Now, import of service by, yes, important. If it is a charitable institution, we say if we import the services, then in that case, the charitable institutions are not required to pay the RCM. Those are not required to pay the RCM. So it is one of the benefit that has been provided to charitable institutions. Otherwise, your inputs are taxable, but import of service for, so I've tried to cover the goods also, and I have tried to cover the charitable institutions also. Now, moving ahead, the services as input services to the charitable institutions also. Now, if I move ahead, and we talk about, this is again one of the AAR, which says, applicant, you are a charitable trust, you are constructing a building which is not directly related to religion, spirituality, or yoga. Services were in the course or furtherance of business, and it will be taxable. What is the main point to be highlighted here? You cannot say if it is a charitable institution or not, it will get exempt. No, it will get exempt only if that particular activity qualifies under the exemption, otherwise not. Charitable trust is registered in GST for renting of services. Then GST RCM will be applicable for import of service. Anubhav ji, if it is first answer me, is it a 12AA charitable institution? If it is it a 12AA charitable institution? Yes or no? It is a 12AA institution. Then whatever import of servicing it is doing, it is exempt wide entry number 10 of notification 9/2017 of IT rate. Why I shifted to IT rate? Because I'm talking about import of service that is covered by IT in IGST Act. That is why it is IT rate notification. Right now, moving ahead, we have been talking about the charitable institutions, religious institutions. I particularly mentioned over there that normal education is not covered. Normal education has its own meaning. Where is that normal education has been given? Friends, you were asking me about certain definitions. Let me tell you various points that have been given in the in these notification, in this notification 12/2017. Those are particularly defined in the pointers in the notification itself. I give you an example. If I talk about educational institution, the definition of educational institution is given in notification 12/2017 itself. Right now, have a look. Okay, let me ask you a few questions. When I started the deliberation, I could see one of the question there, and that was, what about playpens? Are those taxable or exempted? Quickly, right? Whether those are taxable or exempted. Can I have the answers? Nobody. Am I audible? Playpens are taxable or exempted? Thank God I got the answer. At least you are hearing me. Manmohanji saying it's taxable. Okay. Jayeshji saying it's taxable. Okay. ICAI is taxable or exempt? This is what Avinash sir talked about. ICAI, taxable or exempt? Vijayji kehte no, it is not. Bhaskarji kehte no. ICAI, taxable. Okay. None of you mentioned whether you are talking about the services of to the members or services to the students. Right? So let's find answers. If you are confused as to any answers, I know you have lots of questions. What about the play schools? What about the foreign degrees? What about I am only affiliate? I'm not even affiliated. I'm just providing 5th standard services. What about IIMs, IITs, ICAI, ICSI, coaching institutes? What about school canteens, hostels, IELTS centers, and lot more questions? Am I right? So your condition is also somewhat like this. Arey Baba, there are so many answers. Dinesh ji, now the ball is out of your court, huh? I've already said to members and to students. So this question should have come from all of you earlier. Anyhow, now let's get back to it. Friends, if we talk about, always remember, whenever we have to check the exemption notification, first check whether there is levy or not. Whether there is levy or not. Levy hogi, to hi to exemption denge, otherwise how they will give it. So first of all, if I talk about, yes, levy. Section 9 covers everything except alcoholic liquor and for human consumption and 5 petroleum products. So when it covers everything, yes, levy is there. What is the GST rate? Then you will find out the rate. Once levy is there, then you will find out the rate. What is the rate? Yes, SAC 9992. SAC 9992 defines the rate. SAC 9992 defines the rate and says it is 18%. But then the exemption comes into picture and say, wait, 18% rate is there, but the educational services are exempt. Wide entry number 66 of notification, again 12/2017. Now let me ask you all a question. The school is selling, अरे बाबा करुणा जी कहाँ शिफ्ट कर गए? Alcoholic liquor will come under GST. Friends, if you want to cover alcoholic liquor na, in that case the constitution needs to be amended, right? So अभी पहले petroleum products तो ले आइए, उसके लिए constitution भी amend नहीं होना है. But for alcoholic liquor, even the definition itself of GST written in the constitution does not cover alcoholic liquor. Now let's get back. We are talking about education, healthcare. आप कहाँ alcoholic liquor पे पहुंच गए? चलिए, now Exemption. Services to and by educational institution are exempt. Tax rate is 0%. Exemption is notification number 60, entry number 66 of notification 12 by 2017. Right? When I talk about this notification, what I told you, certain definitions are given in the notification itself. So notification 12 by 2017 talks about educational institution, and it says educational institution means, सुभाष जी कह रहे हैं सेल ऑफ बुक्स इन स्कूल बुक. पहले हमें ये बता दो भाई बुक्स टैक्सेबल है कि नहीं. सुभाष जी आंसर मैं नहीं दूंगी, सारे पार्टिसिपेंट्स देंगे. बताइए फटाफट से. स्कूल बुक सेल करता है, यूनिफॉर्म सेल करता है, टैक्सेबल होगा एग्जेम्प्ट? नवीन जी एग्जेम्प्ट कर दिया. कहां लिखा है जल्दी से बताना, मैं भी नोटिफिकेशन पढ़ूंगी शायद. आई विल ऑल्सो गेट टू नो. नवीन जी क्विकली. So you all are saying exempt, taxable. Absolutely, that is taxable. Naveen ji, we are not talking about the services. We are talking about Vijay Yadav ji, NCERT books. Books का वैसे ही रेट 0% है. बुक्स का वैसे ही रेट 0% है, एग्जेम्प्ट है. वो कोई भी बुक्स हो. बट अगर स्कूल आपसे अदर देन द टेक्स्ट बुक्स, अगर आपको कोई नॉर्मल अदर थिंग्स, डोंट वरी, अभी आएगा पीपीटी. अगर नॉर्मली एंट्री में बुक्स एग्जेम्प्ट है तो वो एग्जेम्पशन में जाएगा. नोटिफिकेशन नंबर 12 by 17 में नहीं आएगा. प्लीज कंसंट्रेट. 12 by 2, right, Narayanan ji, that is a normal exemption entry for all the books. Here, to qualify under entry number 66, it must be service. Right? We will put, जैसे we dealt in goods there ना, you don't worry. चलो, you know हमारा ध्यान उधर ही रहता है जो हम चीज सबसे पहले सुनना चाहते हैं. So let me come to the goods first of all. फिर we'll be back to the services. Right? Have a look on this slide. I just show you in a while. कितना कुछ है ना अभी we have to discuss. Here it is. पहले अब सब कुछ डिस्कस कर लेते हैं. Uniforms, school, you are selling the uniform. अरे 100% goods है, taxable at normal rate. School is selling the stationery. Yes, it is taxable. School is selling the printed books, is a normal exemption. Normally, the books are exempt. Even if you are buying Taxman book, if you are buying any other books of the authors, those are exempt. It is not particularly by virtue of entry number 66, it's the journal exemption. But if it is notebooks and other things, if it is stationery item, it is taxable. अब next point नहीं बताऊंगी. हाँ, let me show you. I will tell you the next point. See how many things I have to discuss with you. But before this, let me come back so that we go in a proper flow. All right. Can I see a few thumbs up? Meanwhile, I reach the particular slide. हाँ, tired हो गए अब तो thumbs up भी नहीं आ रहा. Let me come back. Okay, now it is showing. No, not tired. Okay. Are Saurabh ji is also there. I know Saurabh ji. Educational is your also one of the favorite thing. Not tired. Okay. Even I am enjoying Inderpal ji. आज तो एक और additional duty मिल गई है because the tab is under a cover. You know, now I am also holding it so that my picture comes properly. Otherwise, Ramya ma'am फिर गुस्सा करेंगे आपकी photo proper नहीं आ रही है. So I'm holding the tab also so that the picture can be visible. I'm writing, I'm sharing the slides, discussing you, reading your chat. Good. Chaliye. Now coming back, friends, let me talk about the educational institutions. If I talk about educational institutions, it is the definition 2Y, 2 clause Y of the definition itself of the notification 12 by 2000 itself, given at the foot of the rate notification that look, it is an educational institution providing, again, 12 by 2017 is only for the services by way of, friends, if you want to really understand the educational sector now, don't forget this definition. It is divided into 3 limbs. It is divided into 3 limbs. Limb number 1, limb number 2, limb number 3. And this is one of the very, very important points. Educational institutions means, अरे 3 हिस्सों में तोड़ दिया. Vijay ji, a little bit of Hindi is allowed, I guess, right? Chaliye. So 3 parts may they have break the definition. What is that? Schools, point number 1. Colleges, institutes like ICAI, IITs, point number 2. And third, vocational training courses, IITs, vocational educations देते हैं, सिलाई बुनाई, needle का work, carpentry work, the stitching works, vocational training centers. So this is divided into 3 limbs, and these are very important 3 limbs, my dear friends. Reason, तीनों का exemption अलग अलग है. All these 3 entries are having different exemptions. Now look, preschool education and education up to higher secondary are exempt. All the schools are exempt. So those, my dear friends, who mentioned the play schools are taxable, even the preschool education is exempt. Education up to, if your school is only up to 5th standard, whether having affiliation or not, all are exempt. All, no, this is wrong. Not exempt, they are covered by educational institution, right? Why? Abhi to we are doing the definition of educational institution. Second, if a particular entity is providing, particular institute is providing education which is recognized by law, qualification recognized by law, like ICI, they are providing education which is recognized by law. It's a degree course. Simply saying it is a degree course and not a diploma. Then those institutes are also educational institutes. If the education by the institute is provided as approved vocational course, approved is important, approved vocational education course, then also it is covered by educational institution. So play schools mein, your play schools, nursery, kindergartens, all are covered. They are, acha, do they require to be regulated? The answer is no. Where in limb number 1 it has been mentioned they must be regulated by any authority in India? No, nowhere it has been mentioned. They are not supposed to. So any play schools, nursery, kindergarten, the preschools, they are not required to be regulated. If they are providing any preschool education, they are exempt. Moving ahead, even if they are equivalent word that has been used here, even if these are international schools, they are exempt. Qualification by way of now in point number 2, must be recognized by law. A big question mark whether you mean law in India or not. So we also have a older circular, pre-GST regime circular, a service tax circular. It says institute that are recognized by UGC, but again it's a service tax circular 2009. All India Council for Technical. Friends, that is why I mentioned every limb is a separate limb. So there it is mentioned, recognized by the law means the law of the country, and these are the UGC recognized, AICTE recognized, and such other institutes which are recognized by such bodies like institutions through the Union Acts that have come into place, like our ICAI. Right? Now, moving ahead, and none other than the Indian Institute of Aircraft, 34taxman.com 191 has clearly mentioned that the recognized by law is a very wide term. So even if a certificate, degree, diploma, qualification is not the product of statute, but some kind of approval has been granted to it, it is considered as recognized by law. Now, let me ask you a few more questions. You will answer in the chat box, right? If you are not tired, then you are supposed to answer me a few questions. Coaching, it will be a rapid fire, huh? You have to be very, very quick. Don't enjoy your tea time. I will enjoy it with you after this. First question. Coaching institutes, exempt taxable. Coaching institutes exempt taxable. So you all are right in saying it is taxable. Moving ahead, IELTS institutes. IELTS institutes. Oh, great to see your response. Absolutely correct. अब पता नहीं लग रहा पहले का आंसर दे रहे कि दूसरे का. Absolutely correct. All are right in saying it is all taxable. Third question. Crutches. Now be careful. Now be careful. Crutches, taxable or exempt? Googly. A bit googly. Now the answers got Dilip ji, not taxable. Okay. Exempt. शीतल गोयल जी, कहाँ लिखा है exemption? मनमोहन जी कहते taxable है, विजय यादव जी कहते taxable है. Twist. Now let me come back. Okay, before we go back to it, let me ask one last question. Crutches तो मैंने पूछ लिए, day schools भी पूछ लिए, preschools taxable or exempt? Taxable. Absolutely correct. है ना? अरे सुभाष जी, preschools अभी बताया, preschools, play schools, those all are exempt. Parthiv ji, Tarun ji, the preschools are exempt. Absolutely. कोई बात नहीं, लिखने में कभी कभी हो जाता है. Right? चलिए, now let's come to the points that I've mentioned here. Friends, yes, all the private coaching institutes, those all are taxable. Those, see, if you have a right to give the degree in your name, degree course, then it's a separate thing. Degree course, but if you are, even if you are, now you listen, there is an institute. Balaji has opened an institute. So Balaji, your name was appearing on my screen. And you say, I am providing the coaching for a course which is recognized by law. No, it doesn't matter. You are running a coaching institute, it is not exempt, it is taxable. So private coaching institute, although they are providing the recognized qualifications, coaching for recognized qualifications, still they are taxable. Right. Now let's move ahead. Sir, private coachings, whether it is for nursery, pre-nursery, आजकल उनकी भी चलती है, no? Private coachings up to 5th, 10th, CA, IITs, not for IITs, मतलब private coaching for the purpose of qualifying to IIMs, for IAS, all are taxable, Vineji. All are taxable. Right? Chaliye, now let's move ahead. IELTS institutes are also not covered by the exemption. They are also a type of coaching institutes. The preschools are covered by the exemption. Now I asked you about the daycare. My dear friends, the crutches, the daycares are taxable. They are SAC. They are covered under the SAC 999351, taxable at the rate of 18%. So daycare is covered under SAC 999351, taxable. But ये जो twist है ना, hence taxable के बाद, but I will cover up this but when I will discuss the other points, right? So Krishan ji, membership number, ये तो if we move ahead, if I talk about, okay, approved vocational courses ka definition has also been given in the rate notification itself. But now let me come to the notification. Friends, abhi tak hum nursery by authorized school. Piyush Doshi ji, I particularly mentioned the school need not to be authorized. If it is a school, normally you are running by a school. If it is a nursery, pre-nursery, playpen, it is covered by the definition of educational institute. Friends, please don't get confused. You know, I just read with you the definition of educational institute. Abhi exemption kya hai, that I'm going to tell you. This is entry number 66. And I please request all of you to be with me for another 2 minutes in this entry number. If you will understand this entry number easily, then everything will be like a piece of cake for you, right? Have a look. Friends, you can see 2 points in front of me, A and AA and B. A or AA में buy लिखा हुआ है, यानी output services. It is talking about the output services. And in the third point, B point, Jayesh ji, it has been mentioned two. It is talking about input services of educational institute. Friends, how many charitable we have talked about, religious we have talked about, healthcare, if we will be talking about, where you have a separate session for healthcare. I will not be taking up that today much in detail. Always remember, only their outputs are exempt. their inputs are all taxable until or unless specifically exempted. Hospital may whatever inputs they are taking, machineries, medicines, all are taxable. Rentals, all are taxable. Educational institution is the one where entry number B exempts certain input services. Certain input services. So A or AA talks about output and B talks about input. Let's have a look. ऐसे पढ़ोगे तो you will get confused a bit. Let's go through the diagrammatic representation. A and AA. First entry, provider कौन? It should be an educational institution that should, and you know, those who are actually listening very carefully, once I will finish up the slide, I need a thumbs up from all of you that yes, you have understood it. Then I will ask questions, right? Have a look. Who should be the provider? Educational institute, you should be the provider. Whom you are providing the services, please mind it, you, if providing any service, see, I'm going to give you a googly after this, right? Please listen carefully. If you are an educational institution, you are providing any services to whom? Students, faculty, and the staff. It is exempt. It is exempt. Second, conduct of entrance examination. Can anybody tell me why this entry is specifically mentioned? Why it is not covered by entry number A only? Friends, when a particular person is taking the entrance exam of a school or a college or wherever, it is still not the student. It is only a person. Once you qualify the entrance, then you become a student. Shweta ji, I hope I have added on to your point. So that is why the word any person has been mentioned. And not all examinations. Entrance examination particularly mentioned over there. Conduct of entrance examination against consideration in the form of entrance fee. If it is being, they are charging the entrance fee, it is provided to any person, school, college, all type of educational institute, limb number 1, limb number 2, limb number 3, all are exempt. Now my question first, अभी ये googly question नहीं है, simple question. ICI charging fee from students, taxable or exempt? Quickly. ICI, अरे बाप रे इतनी quickly करते हो सब फटाफट से. Absolutely correct. Exempt. Perfectly right. You all are right in saying, because it is educational institution. Yes. Any service? Yes. Providing to whom? Students? Yes, it is exempt. Great to see all of you. Your answers are just flowing on my screen. Second. Okay, now let's talk about a bit of input services. Should I give you the googly question? That I will give after this slide. Chalo, next point. Up we are out. A point and AA, both are covered. Entrance examination fee that has been charged from any person is also exempt. All right. Now, B point. Inderpalji, after this, After this. Now, B point. Service provider is any person. Now, my dear friends, the B entry is talking about the input services of educational institution. Please remember this. Now, हमने 3 limbs पढ़े थे. We talked about 3 limbs. Remember? 1, 2, and 3. Input exemption, 3 limbs की 3 limbs are different. So the input services for 3 different limbs are different. What are those? If you are a limb number 1, means you are a school, pre-education, normal schools you are covered in, education up to higher secondary or equivalent, pre-school education. Then means simply if you are a school covered by limb number 1 of educational institution, only then your services of transportation, input service of transportation of students, input service of catering, input service of midday meal, input service of security, input service of cleaning or housekeeping is exempt. Input service is by online portal to colleges. Piyush ji, अगला क्वेश्चन आप आंसर देंगे, क्या मैंने लिम नंबर 1 में कॉलेजेस कवर किए? आंसर इज नो, ओनली अप टू हायर सेकेंडरी स्कूल्स हैव बीन कवर्ड. सेकंड, क्या मैंने आपकी ऑनलाइन पोर्टल की सर्विस दी, कंसिडर की? आंसर इज नो. जब नहीं की तो दोज बिकम टैक्सेबल. Right? So Pooja ji and Preeti ji have also answered your question. I can see their answers no. So input services, if they are getting from online portal, that is taxable. Only transportation, that too of student, faculty and staff, catering, including the midday meals, security, cleaning, housekeeping services are the 5 services that are exempt only to schools. Now my question, ICAI taking catering service for students, catering service for students, exempt or taxable? Taking catering service for students, absolutely correct. So good to see taxable. Absolutely correct. Those all are taxable. संतोष जी exempt कैसे किया? Output की बात नहीं कर रही हूँ, taking input की बात कर रही हूँ. संतोष जी, I hope you got the answer correctly. Great, Vijay ji. Taxable. Right. So if I'm input services only to category 1, schools is only exempt. Point number 2, any person, now they have covered all type of educational institution. If you are taking any input service from any person which is related to conduct of examination, it is exempt. It is exempt. You know, when I'm discussing the points, lots of questions are coming in my mind, but I'm keeping it inside tight. Admission to or conduct of examination, if any category 1, 2, 3, school, college, ICAI, ICSI taking the services of printing of question paper, taxable or exempt? Taxable or exempt? Exempt, absolutely. कौन confused है? I could not read, ma'am, confused, but name was not displaying. You all are giving so good answers, you know. In a click of second, your answers are just crossing my screen. Perfect, very knowledgeable and very interactive audience. Absolutely correct. Online portal for exam. Piyush ji has now changed the question. It says online portal for exam taken by college, is it exempt? If you are taking the input services for conduct of any examination, yes, it is exempt, Piyush ji. Then it will get covered by second part, right? Conduct of examination. Great, Jayesh ji. Thank you so much. If you people are enjoying, I too am enjoying it very much. Last, online education journals or periodicals is exempt only to the second one, second limb, clause number 2. Educational institute, education as a part of curriculum for obtaining a qualification recognized by any law in force. Only third one. It means ICI, ICSI, IIMs, if they are getting the online educational journals or periodicals, that is exempt. Input services for online education journal or periodicals, that is exempt. Right. I hope you all have got the slide. Now, can I ask you a few questions? Are you all ready? Are you all ready? Chaliye. Great, great. I can see. Yes. Now, Karuna ji, school magazines getting printed, you are taking the input service. It's not exempt. It's not exempt. You see, transportation, catering, security, cleaning, housekeeping is not there. Those are not covered there. Anyhow, and in third part, they have only covered the middle wala limb, right? Great. Friends, my first question is, daycare services given by a school, exempt or taxable? Daycare services by a school, exempt or taxable? Exempt, exempt. Taxable. Vinod ji, how you mentioned taxable? Not exempt. Navneet ji, not exempt. Navneet ji saying not exempt. Naveen ji saying exempt. Kailash ji saying taxable. Daycare by school is exempt to students. Yes, my dear friends. In my previous slide, I told you, Daycare services is taxable, 100%. 100% taxable at the rate of 18%. But if it is provided by the school, educational institute, then any service to the student is exempt. Naveen ji, why you are going to the composite or otherwise? Directly come to entry number 66. It says educational institute, you are providing any service to the student, it is exempt. May it be daycare, may it be any other service that is being provided is exempt. Hope I could make the point clear now. Yes, Vijayji, absolutely right. By school, it is exempt. Point number 2. Okay. A school purchased the answer booklets for examination. School purchased answer booklets for examination. Exempt or taxable? Exempt or taxable? Hi Ram, how you can write exempt? ध्यान से सोच के करिए जरा आंसर. पीयूष जी, श्वेता जी, करुणा जी, taxable, correct. Why? Now let me answer those who said exempt. Friends, I said purchase of answer booklets for examination. That is not a service. That is a good. Absolutely, Jayeshji. I told you, you will fall into the trap if you will not listen carefully. Absolutely correct. That is a purchase of goods. Now, second question. Now answer very carefully. I got the question paper printed or OMR sheets printed for the examination. I'm an educational institution. I got the OMR sheets printed for the examination. Exempt or taxable? Exempt or taxable? Exempt. You all are right. Ashish ji, exempt. Exempt. Any service, it is a service. I've taken the printing services. On this question paper, the name of the school is written. The questions are being set on by me. It is a service. May whatever the material be, it is a service. If it is a service, it is for the conduct of examination given to an educational institution. It is exempt. Great Gauravji, great Vijayji, Piyushji, all are right in saying so. Right? So let's have a look on the next slides now. Let's have a look. I am not going to deal with IITs, considering the time constraint too. It's already 6:45. Right. Anyhow, we have one more service entry, which says the development skill enhancement. I told you there are certain institutes, particularly NSDC, National Skill Development Corporation, Sector Skill Development Corporation. All these services are, all these institutes are particularly covered by entry number 67. So these are certain specific institutions जो develop करते हैं, what we call हुनर वाले जो होते हैं, skill development जो होती हैं, जो मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ स्किल डेवलपमेंट रन कर रही है, दीनदयाल उपाध्याय ग्रामीण कौशल्य योजना, etc., which are being run, those have been given specific entries number 69, 70, 71 for the exemption purposes. Now, okay, let me ask you a question. A school, just another 10 minutes, and I assure you that you will enjoy it. Let me ask you a question. A school has hired a bus, taxable, exempt. Be quick. A school has hired a bus, taxable or exempt. All are writing it is exempt. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Now let me ask another tricky question. You know, the transporter which the school took has also taken the bus on hire. Taxable or exempt? Now have a look on the next entry number 22. Friends, if any you please see this slide in a reverse order. Reverse order. This is a separate entry number 22, my dear friends. Piyush ji, have a look. educational institution taking the transportation services for school facilities exempt by 66B1, right? But even if this service recipient is taking any motor vehicle in hire for transportation of students, faculty, and staff, that is specifically exempt by entry number 22. So this is the point I want to highlight. I think so this pictorial presentation will give you a full insight of what I want to convey here. I'm talking about the source of the source. School, you are exempt. Your input service is exempt. Even the input service of service recipient is also exempt by entry number 22. Right? Now let's have a look on the another one. Friends, I have put in a lots of examples here. Educational institutions, if they are with the case studies, with the case names, if the I might not be able to take all, but still I will try to take. Sir, payment made to trainer, it must be Piyush, somewhere like salary. Salary is not covered. They might be on the payroll. Now, educational institution loading, boarding charges for hostel accommodation exempt. All services to, so whatever charges they are charging for lodging, boarding, all are exempt. See, school is never exempt. Vishalji, a very, very good question. Vishalji has asked me, what about the manpower services to school? It is taxable, Vishalji. I talked about security service that is exempt, not manpower. Manpower services provided to school are taxable, right, Vishalji? Now, coming back, I have made a case study here. Boarding school is never exempt. The schools are never exempt. Totally, only their activities are exempt. So, I have given the example of ABC Limited and Educational Institute, and you can see in front of you, whatever they are providing to students is exempt. If they are providing any coaching services in the name of Wizard, that will become taxable. So what is the highlighting point here in this case study? You don't have to see who is the provider. You have to see, of course, the provider as well as the activity that is being provided is also to be checked. Friends, these are the various rate notifications. You know, if the schools are providing only education, they don't have any other incomes, they will be exempt. Place of supply is an important point. There is a particular entry 12 subsection 6 which says of IGST Act, which says that yes, it is the location of the educational institute that decides the place. But nowadays everything is going online. May it be coachings, टैक्सेबल है. अरे एजुकेशन में ही टैक्सेबल है, एग्जेम्पशन के लिए क्वालिफाई नहीं होता है तो एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट ही. So even if it is an online coaching center, in that case, it is covered under 12/2. And for 12/2, it is the location of the recipient. It is the location of the recipient. Normally, if it is a school, it is the location of educational institution. But if it is an online system, it is location of the recipient. Right? I'm not talking about if schools are running online due to COVID crisis, that is a separate thing, but otherwise, right? Friends, a lots of case studies. There are foreign universities. And you know, intermediary has always been an issue. We have got the judgments where two judges have given the bifurcated opinions. Ki foreign countries may, if you are providing the services and promoting the courses of foreign universities and the person is earning the commission, it will not qualify as export of service. We have the case law of Dhananjay by the Honorable High Court, where we have got two different expression of opinions by two different judges. Right? Furthermore, sometimes one school invites the another school. You come and do, and they are charging money from it. I already told you, services only to students and the faculty is exempt. Students, faculty, and staff, not to everyone. So one school charging from another school, 100% taxable. Friends, important point other than this. Okay, if you are covered by, let me come to the main one of the slides, friends, university. University, if you are providing services to the students, it will be exempt. But I have particularly cited an example, and it is the original document of a university. If they are providing services to colleges and charging money for it other than for examination, see, that also becomes taxable. So university, if you are selling application forms, the person has not become your student, right? If it is other than the entrance fees and other activities. So even inspection fees charged by to be paid by colleges, I'm talking about if they are charging from colleges, then these become taxable. If the university is charging amount from the colleges for providing them with the type of printing material and something, if it is particularly exempted, printing books or otherwise, then it will be exempt. But if it is brochures, leaflets, and similar product materials, that will become taxable. So don't think university, you have to differentiate university is providing services to the student or whether it is providing to the this. Sir, you have talked about the affiliation fee. To my considered view, yes, the clarification for the same has been sought, but according to me, it should be charged on it as of now. Right? Now, moving ahead, if there are extracurricular activities being going on inside the school, it is composite supply. One of my friends referred it. The composite supply, yes, it will get exempt. Now, friends, now you will be clear. Printing of question papers and OMRs. It is not printing of question papers is not goods. It is a service. But purchasing of answer sheets, then it is a goods. I hope you are able to differentiate, right? One of my friend was asking about few services. Now I'm talking about the input services. If the school is charging, for annual function, if it is charged from students, it will remain exempt. If it is being charged for the parents, entry fee for the parents, it will become taxable. Educational institution, you are getting the question paper printed, it is exempt. Housekeeping services is exempt. Security exempt, but my dear friends, manpower is taxable. Hostel is exempt. Canteen income to the school is exempt. With this, my presentation stands over. But my dear friends, I have covered your healthcare sector, but because your healthcare is a separate topic, I'm not deleting it from the PPT. I will share the entire PPT, but I'm not deliberating upon the healthcare sector in detail. With this, I end up my presentation. Over to you, Namya ma'am. And I'm very thankful to all the participants for their excellent participation throughout. Thank you so much. Over to you, ma'am. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Aanchal ma'am, for a wonderful session. I've attended a lot of your sessions, and you definitely make it interactive. You even make people wake up and interact with you, so that it makes it interesting for you as well as for everyone else here. And even I've learned a lot today. So thank you so much, ma'am.
It's my pleasure.
And thank you, of course, to all the audience. And I mean, they have been so interactive till the end, like you told, from the starting till the end, which is really amazing. So the same amount of answers each and every time, whether it was 5:30, whether it is 7 o'clock now. So thank you, everyone. So please don't forget to attend the other 5 sessions also. And the next session, a reminder, next session is on Saturday, same time, 5 o'clock by CA Navya Malhotra. So please don't miss it out. So that's it from my side today. So catch you on Saturday, 5 p.m. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Thank you so much.